Testing, testing, testing.
Walked in the party, he done, and I noticed talking the artist on.
I gotta make sure this is adjusted.
Got my saucy Armani's on.
Frazer looking all goonish.
Nah, this ain't my goon looks. Oh.
You are funny. This is recording, right? Okay. October Red, back with Frazer Clarke. Frazer, this is kind of like a catch-up because I know you were bombarded after your last fight.
And I respect that because you see me, I was struggling a little bit. After the fight, everything's a million miles an hour. I was there with my girl. I was there with a million media people pulling me from pillar to post, and you just said, you know what, allow it. I'll catch you another time. I love it, respect it.
But the thing is, I am quite privileged because you guys always invite me down to the gym, so I have got that bonus. So respect to you for always inviting me here.
Anytime.
But feedback. Let's go back to the fight. It was literally after the Daniel Dubois, what I call it, the low blow gate, where the refs are literally on form for that. But talk through the fight.
Yeah, you know what? I think I just spoke to the coach. I was a bit guilty, that fight week. I was spending too much time on social media, because fight week's a bit like not a lot going on. Yeah, what I should have done was just allowed social media a little bit, because you can get like this. If you read enough things, you can start believing it. In my head, I was thinking, wait, has Dave Allen, is he improved that much? Could he beat me? Because in my head beforehand, there's no way Dave Allen could beat me. But a lot of people lost a lot of money. Everyone was betting on him because he has good odds. People thought he's going to chin me, and I just thought, wait a minute, could he actually do that? And that's just because I was reading people's shit. So a lesson learned, do you know what I mean? But the reality is, we were levels apart. A nice guy, national treasure, like I said, but in terms of boxing, fighting, me and him are levels apart. And this is not me slamming him, but it was like projected as like, oh, he's a tough guy. You're a tough guy. He's a pussy. Every time I hit into the body, he complained and said it was a low blow. Whether they actually hurt him, I don't believe they did, because I believe the body shots that he felt, but I don't think they was even hurting him. I think he was just looking for a rematch.
When we talk about that, we can touch on the low blows, because I think you got, was it 2 points taken off?
Yeah.
And the crowd was on, oh my God, he's going to get disqualified in a minute.
But I just felt like as well, the referees are brilliant. They're brilliant at what they do. But I think with it being Dave Allen and with him being like that sort of lovable character, I think he may have had the referees and judges all like playing into his hand a little bit. Just like, I think people were falling for the theatrics. You know what I mean? He was Oscar worthy that night. Do you know what I mean? It was low. I watched it back. Some of them was low. Some of them wasn't. If you look at his protector was up here, and his belt line was below that. So it is what you make of it, but it's a fight. He hit me behind the head. He was holding my nose, trying to stop my breathing. He hit me low as well. He kept holding my head down and hitting me. I didn't complain, just got on with it. A little cheeky smile, that's what you got at me. Okay, Dave, for playing that game, we're playing that game. Fight's a fight.
When you talk about lessons learned then, and like you said, one of them was obviously the social media. Social media is the bane of a lot of people's lives. It is dangerous. So when you talk about lessons learned, when you've got a fight coming up now, what are you doing with your phone?
No, I'll probably just get a quick Nokia and just whack a SIM card in it. Do you know what I mean? But listen, in some respect, I respect people. I respect fans' opinions. You know why? Because they're the people that buy the fights and whatnot. So I do respect people's opinions. But it's like, when people slander my family and shit. Like go on Instagram, look at photos and just slander my family. It's mad. It's mental. So I do it back to some people. Do you know what I mean? It's a nasty place, social media. There's a lot of people that probably aren't happy in their own life. Do you know what I mean? And just decide to like, oh, you're there. It's easy for them to write comments and shit like that, but it's what it is, isn't it?
Lessons learned then from the fight itself, with the tactics that Dave was playing in the game. Playing the game, as we can say. What would you say you've learned from that fight to obviously progress you onto your next fight? And the only reason why I asked that phrase is because from when you've started, you've been under tremendous criticism. It's almost like that Olympic medal that you took with you. Heavy of the head wears the crown. Do you understand?
That's it. But that is what it is. And I think a lot of boxers are guilty of sort of, letting it sort of take over them. You have to thicken up your skin a little bit. Not everyone's going to love you. Do you know what I mean? That is what it is. Like, you have your people that support you. Some people aren't going to like your style. But, all I want to do is improve. And I know that I do need to improve. And that there's different, like, from the fight I took, that even though I could have cruised the fight and I was cruising it, I get it. It's an entertainment business. Maybe just that little rocket up my arse and go and take people out, because I'm well capable of doing it. It's just sometimes you can become a bit lazy and a bit lackluster. And I think I was guilty of that in that fight. I think I should have recognised early that, you know what, if I want to, I know he's a tough guy, but I believe he's boxed a lot of people and people with more ability than me. But I think the way I was catching him and the way that it's slowed down a bit over the last few years and his inactivity, I think I should have been able to close the show spectacularly, really.
So when you look at that in hindsight, what was it that was stopping you from doing that?
Probably just being comfortable, being too comfortable. The odd right hand was coming back from him and the dirty tactics, and I think all that was sort of taking me away from what I wanted to do. Like sort of a bit of distraction. Like the head was coming in, and the referee was breaking it up a lot. I was probably getting a bit too close. So I've got to not to say all him. There's a lot of things that I could have done better. So that is what it is. We live and we learn, but. Nevertheless, a win, and an easy win. To be honest, I was never really under the cosh at any point. I controlled it quite well.
When you hear the public saying, "Oh, maybe there should be a rematch," I think that's in a very small minority.
Yeah, what's the point? I was battering him, not battering him, but beating him so easily. There's no point. People talk about, we want to see you test. Dave Allen's a test. Dave Allen's a tough man. He's not. He was, but he's not anymore, and that's just the truth.
The heavyweight division, it's getting a little bit tasty, and it would be rude of me not to mention the little fracas that we had with Fabio Wardley and obviously David Adelaye. Two of them, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Talk to me about that, because to me, I'm selfish. I thought that was entertaining, and now I'm going to buy the fight.
Yeah, of course, it put a bit of spice in the fight. I mean, the only other time them two get views if they start talking about me, so they needed to do something. But it just showed me a lot, I think Fabio, I haven't seen it, but I was told Fabio was ridiculing me after my Dave Allen performance. I heard he was taking the piss online, because he's good at that. It's the thing he's best at. Is like, he's good with the social media, with the pictures and all that. He's good at that shit. But it just showed me that, David Adelaye, I often knew he was about it. But Fabio, can't lie to us, man. Like, I seen him do one of them, like the Coogan does, like the life stories thing.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, that, I can't remember what it's called, the IFL, when they talk about your past and everything like that. I seen Fabio's, because I watch it, I'm a boxing fan, I watch them all. They said, oh yeah, back in the day I got into it on the street and this and that, I think he had to back up his dad or something like that. Some mad story. But anyway, just show me, what? You're lying, man. You're lying. Bullshit. Because if you've ever been about that life, you know when it's going off and it's all around you can't run forward with your chin in the air. Put your back to the wall and have a look around and smack whatever comes towards you. But he's inexperienced on the roads like that and on the street. Like, I'm not saying I'm a mad street fighter. I'm not, but I've been in enough altercations to know that you can't run forward like that. You end up chewing carpet. The man had carpet on his teeth. He was on the floor chewing carpet. So, he wants to come at me online about my performance. He needs to sort his shit out, man. Put your back to the wall and swing. Don't run forward and offer your chin out because you get put on your arse like you did.
We talk about mind games heading up towards a fight, and we were entertained. It was something that
I was entertained. Do you know what? Like, remember this. Even though I'm competitive with these guys, I'm a fan as well. So it's made me want to see the fight more. But I can't sit at home and watch a fight. I need to be there for that fight. So I'm going to be a fucking front row for that fight.
That's one thing I will say about you. You turn up to all sorts of shows. It doesn't matter what broadcaster it is. We're guaranteed if there's a good card on, we're going to see Frazer Clarke.
Yeah, I'm not a broadcaster. I'm just a fighter. I don't I've got no loyalties to fucking anyone. If I want to go to a fight and watch boxing, I go to a fight and watch boxing. Go with my boys, go with my girl, whatever. I just like the sport. And when it's two people that you can potentially fight, I don't think there's anywhere better than to be on the front row. So I'll be there.
How do you see that fight going? Not from obviously this, fracas that they had, but based on both of their performances, how do you see the fight literally going?
A little bit cagey at first. Someone will land big. If Adelaye lands big, then I think Fabio will spoil him for a minute. and or use his feet, and he's quite agile, so he'll get out of the way. If Wardley catches Adelaye, I think he'd dive on him, and the referees have got this mad perception that Wardley's like a fucking Deontay Wilder. He's not. Let me tell you, he's not. But he obviously he can hit a bit, but he's not no Deontay Wilder. So I think they get a bit shook and jump in. As soon as he starts letting a few go, unorthodox, like swinging like a madman. But it works. He's effective. So best of luck to him.
Interesting. We'll move a little bit just down the chain when we talk about as in rankings. English champion Solomon Dakers. It's been rumoured there's a possibility that it could be him and Jeamie TKV getting it on. How do you see that fight? Because it's very split. Some people are saying that Jeamie TKV is going to stop him, and then some people are saying that Solomon Dakers will outbox him. I spoke to Solomon Dakers, and one of his, like the elephant in the room with him, is punch power.
1 sec. Someone turn that off, please. Go on.
Punch power is something that's like the elephant in the room with Solomon Dakers. So how do you see that fight going?
No, do you know what? You can't. He hits hard enough. Solomon does. Hits hard and often enough. Fit as a fiddle. Probably fit as heavyweight. I know. He's right up there with like Joyce. He's unbelievable engine. Trains very hard, and he's tough from the rugby background. Jeamie's. I think Jeamie's a good fighter. I hear sparring stories of him being really good. But he's not boxing no one yet, really, has he? Me and Jeamie are probably destined to fight, to be honest, at some point. We always talk about it, and it started off as a bit animosity, but when I see him now, it's cool, we have a shake hands, and I said to him, next year we'll get it cracking, no worries. I've got no problem with Jeamie. He's a nice enough geezer, but he's a really, really good troll on the internet. You don't want to fuck with Jeamie on the internet because he can get you. And his boys got some loyal fans, man. They fucking come for me all the time.
They come for you, but they haven't been really disrespectful because I've seen it. I've seen the banter online, and it's kind of like they'll laugh with you, but it's like I'm still backing my boy.
No, there's one guy. I can't think of his fucking name. He'll know who he is if he sees this. He's got he ain't got no profile picture. Is it Inchy or Itchy or something? Oh man, he's backing Jeamie to the death in, which I rate. Do you know what? I rate it. But to answer the question, Solomon versus Jeamie. People talk about Jeamie stopping people, but he stopped that Michael Bolosk, whatever his name is. He's fucking terrible. Like, I was supposed to fight him early on. I think my debut, and the board were like, no, we can't sanction that, blah blah blah. And then I ended up boxing another guy, Jake Darnell, who really was probably worse than him, to be fair. So, but yeah, I won't even let me box, and then he stops him. Now all of a sudden he's a puncher, he's a knockout puncher. We'll see when he boxes someone of stature. Do you know what I mean? I would have liked to see him. I think now he retired. I would have liked to see him with Sokolovsky or someone like that. Do you know what I mean? See where he's at. But I believe he's a good fighter, definitely. And he's doing his thing, man. He's fighting September 30th now, isn't he? He's fighting at York Hall. So
the opponent's yet to be announced. That's why I was
because that's shit. You see, it'd be a shit one. Be another shit one and knock him over, and you get a load of applause. The thing is, there's a difference, because Jeamie really didn't come with no real background. He did a bit in the amateurs, but so he can knock them guys over and be like, oh my god, look at him! I knock him over, and I shouldn't be in the ring with him. So it's chalk and cheese, and it's like
it's the Olympic curse.
That's it.
But Matty Harrison, we can move over to him. I know we spoke about him. There's nothing confirmed yet, but we're hopeful that he's going to get the rematch. I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
Devinchenko, maybe. I do apologise if I've got that wrong. What are your thoughts at him in this early stage of his career, going back in and really wanting to right that wrong?
Yeah, obviously I can get where he's coming from, wanting to right that wrong. I think until if he does reach the heights that he wants to reach, he'll be kicking himself about that defeat until then, because the thing that lost him the fight is the thing that you can get for free. You can get it by running the road. You can get it by just working hard. Do you know what I mean? So his skill didn't lose in the fight. Just his probably his mentality and his lack of discipline. And I don't like saying that because it's like we all lack it with that at times. But I think the thing that really fucked him up there was himself. And as long as he takes self proclaim to that, and he knows it was him. He's the one that can fix it. He can fix that, no problem. So I don't worry for Matty. I think real dent to his ego, real dent to his progression, and is probably going to have to do really well to get back in favours with his promoters, because I didn't like the way they were a bit fucking critical after. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they were honest, but if that's your boy, back him a little bit. Tell a little white lie, anything. Do you know what I mean? His back was struggling on the building or something like that. But people are different. Like, if I'm the promoter and that's my boy who I'm backing and I'm counting on, probably to the public, I'm probably saying, oh, he's had a few problems. But to him direct, I'm getting into him. You know what I mean? Saying, yo. So I didn't really like that. There's times to be honest. Do you know what I mean? There's times to just do what you got to do, because win, lose, unless they're looking to fuck him off, which I hope they're not, because he's definitely got potential. Do you know what I mean? He's a good fighter, and I think what's let him down is maturity. So I hope he moves on, and all the best to him.
We talk about moving on. When can we expect to see you back out, Frazer? Because, like I said, you could be fighting Jesus Christ, you still get criticised for it. However, to keep the momentum going, to keep the activity going, you have been quite active from your debut, which has been good. They've been consistent with you. When can we see you back out again?
I think it'll be the new year now, and I know that's people say, what? They've still got loads left. But the last two fights, I've been managing an injury in here. I've been sparring with one hand, I've been training with one hand, and it's just got to the point now. I've really common injury in boxing, so I've got to have a small operation to get that fixed. A little rest up, and then in the new year, we'll be back and we'll go again.
We really look forward to it. I know you probably can't comment, but I'm going to ask about your stablemate, Richard Riakphore. Obviously, everything that's happening with him, we really want to see him back out again. We want to see him in the ring. I've kind of put something out on Twitter, a fight that could be made possible if the Gulamarian fight doesn't happen, is him versus Lawrence Okolie. I know apparently the rematch clause with Chris Billiam-Smith is activated. But to kind of get him back in good stead with the public, with reputation, all of that you guys put on the line to entertain us. Richard Riakphore versus Lawrence Okolie.
Yeah, good fight, a really good fight. But it should have been a cruiserweight world title fight. If everything went smoothly, which it never does in boxing, does it? It should have been a cruiserweight world title fight. So I just want to see Richard get out at this point. You know what I mean? Inactivity is not good enough. I wish there wasn't that many politics in boxing. I wish he'd have jumped in with this Opataya, because I think he beats him. I really do. I think he beats him. I think he catches him and hurts him. He's a great fighter, that Opataya, by the way. But I think Richard's got the punch power to kill anyone in that division. So I just want to see him out. I just want to see him boxing. That's all I want to see him. He's in this gym all day. It must be mind-numbing for him. He's in here all the time with no date, or with messing about with dates. I see it with loads of pro fighters. It's a fucking nightmare.
It is a nightmare. You snooze, you lose. It sounds like quite a cruel thing to say, but it's kind of like what happens in boxing. And now Jordan Thompson is getting this opportunity.
Yeah, fair play to him, man. Fair play to him. Do you know what? He's got. I seen him box last time. I think I seen him box Luke Watkins.
Yeah, Luke the Duke.
He's got good skills, Jordan. And people are writing him off. When you're that tall, the man's a fucking giant for cruiserweight. When you're that tall, that leverage, if he can pull that one shot and catch this guy and make it awkward for this guy. Yeah, this guy's a southpaw, a bouncy southpaw, amateur style, really. He does the amateur thing, but he does it for 12 rounds. I know his coach, amateur coach as well, good coach. Trained some really good fighters, Australian fighters actually. Trained Justice Honey and your man Opataya. So I've got a lot of respect for them, but if I was Jordan Thompson, got nothing to lose, mate. Go and give. The good thing is, if you go and give a good account of yourself, you get big fights off that as well. Just don't go out there and sink under the lights and swallow it, and you're all right. But I wish him all the best, man. Him, Tony Sims are good people, so I could just wish him all the best, man.
Frazer, as per usual, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to seeing you back out as well. Obviously,
it won't be long.
I'm a day one supporter. You know what it is, guys. Get behind Frazer Clarke.
Yeah, whether you do, whether you don't. Listen, be blessed, people.
Cheers.